Hey, how's everybody's Friday night going? Hopefully well. I've had a bit of a sad ending to the week here. A lot of you all hear me talk about a local case to me missing DJ Witt. Remains were found near the area that he was last seen and waiting on the medical examiner to compare dental records and DNA to see if that's him or not. So his vigil for tomorrow night has been canceled because his family needs some privacy at this time. Um, yeah, so that's where I'll start there. But tonight, we're going to be talking about Miss Summer Wells. This is a case that I normally don't talk about much on my channel, but I figure 2.5 years missing, it's time. So yeah, Summer Wells is a missing 5-year-old from Tennessee. Well, she was 5 when she went missing, June 15th of 2021. She's been missing 2.5 years today. Hey, Love Lark, how are you? Hey, single mom. And yeah, 2.5 years ago on a Tuesday afternoon, she went missing. Let's see, I think the updated picture, they done a time progressed photo. I think it's down here. Oh, or not. Give me just a second, guys. Look at her. Just a baby. Well, it's not on there. Here's an age progressed photo of Summer. The one on the left, of course, was Summer when she went missing. Let me get this off the screen. Oh, no, it's not. You guys aren't seeing what I'm seeing. Let me share this other screen with you all. That would probably help, huh? No summer, no peace. That's right, Loves the Lurk. Here we go. So on the left is Summer before she had went missing. And on the right is what Summer may look like today. Summer's almost 8 years old now, guys. You have to remember she's been missing for 2.5 years. So she's no longer that little kid or the little baby that we all, are used to seeing. Single mom says, I've tried to help find Summer, but when you have a sheriff's department that says you will go to jail if you go searching, it makes it hard. It does, single mom. That's what happens, though. I ran into that recently, too, about searching. So, yeah. That's the way it goes sometimes. I'm not going to read this article. I just wanted to show you guys the age progressed photo. Basically, what I'm doing tonight is just trying to catch up because a lot of the noise I block out on Summer's case because I know that they're not releasing any more facts. So I'm just want to hunt around Reddit tonight and look at the 2 years timeline because I think when the 2 years timeline come out, I didn't look at that updated timeline. So I just wanted to see. I don't think anything's new on there. I haven't heard about it, but I thought we'd just go over that before we look at the Reddit thread anyways. If you guys want to look at the Reddit thread on Summer. I know that Summer's a touchy subject here on YouTube, so it's all in what everybody wants, I guess. It does make her look way older, and I'll admit, when it first came out, I didn't like the age progression photo either. However, I do know that Summer's looks are changing. If, she's losing teeth and getting adult teeth, that's going to change her face shape and stuff like that. So, that's all we have. So I always put it out there, but I'm not a big fan of it either. I just don't know that that's what she would look like either. At first, I thought this picture didn't look like it would be her. Then when I look at my 7-year-old and her features did start coming out just like these, really. See, that's what you got to remember is all the facial features changing. Hey, Alley Cat, how are you? You said, I do, please, Juju. What are you talking about, single mom? Link, maybe. Hey, Connie, how are you? Yeah, 5, they're at the end of their baby face and all of that. So I just wonder how they determine these age progression photos. I've never looked into that. Have you guys? Let me share this other screen and we'll go over this 2-year timeline. And I know this is 2.5 years, and we're looking at the 2-year timeline right now, and it's an old one. Like I said, guys, I didn't look at this one when it came out because I knew that there hadn't been any more facts put out that I knew about. I didn't either. I thought we would know something by now. Okay, so here is the timeline they put out for her 2 years. I'm going to just go ahead and read the article and we'll start going through the timeline. Stop me at any time you guys want to chat about something, though. And as always, all opinions are welcome. Just be respectful about it. Some of us are going to think that Dawn and Candace is crappy parents. Some of us is going to think that they're not to blame. Some of us is going to think that Summer probably wandered off. Some of us is going to think she was abducted. Some of us might even think she was abused. All I ask is that you guys don't bring up the boys and you don't put SA on Summer's name. That's all I ask. And then just keep it respectful and we can all get along. Justice for Summer. They do it based on family pictures, features, brothers. Oh, so they take everybody's picture kinda and put it through in a computer, I'd say, and that's how they get it. Well, that's cool. And that makes sense that they do it that way then. You know, if you look at Joe, well, I said don't talk about the boys, so look at me breaking my own rule. We'll move on from that. Let's see. This is from WJHL, Ainsley Adams, I think, is Ainsley Daniels. Here, we can actually watch the video. It'd be a lot better than listening to me read the whole thing. And then we'll go look at the timeline.
Summer Wells. And that's where we begin today on First and Four. I'm Josh Smith in for Ainsley Daniel, who will join us in just a moment. News Channel 11's Ainsley Daniel has been covering this story for months and even years now and has the latest on the timeline as we look back to what led to the disappearance call. Ainsley?
Yeah, Josh, 2 years later, after dozens of searches and hundreds of tips, authorities know no more than what they did when a family member reported that a 5-year-old little girl was missing from her home on Ben Hill Road.
Summer Wells
really
is missing. She's 5 years old. She's 4 foot tall, blonde hair, last seen wearing a pink shirt and gray pants.
Hundreds of searchers from dozens of agencies searched through Beech Creek for weeks looking for Summer.
We will not quit until we find Summer Wells.
Hang on, I don't know what I did here.
The community held prayer circles and vigils. A couple of weeks later, authorities called off the ground search.
It might let us through and it might not. I think my connection's slow tonight, guys. I'm going to pause it for a minute and see if that helps. And everybody can see Loves the Lark's comment. All opinions welcome. All opinions welcome. Loves the Lark. What makes you think that? Is it the YouTube tour, the drug use, past accusations? No, it's on. I'll go check it. No, it's on. I'll be watching it. Oh, well, that's cool, single mom. You went there? Let's see if we've loaded a little bit now. It should play on through.
That's when Summer Wells' mother, Candace Bly, spoke on camera for the first time.
I yelled downstairs for her a couple times, and I didn't get no answer, which was unusual because
big difference.
And so I went down there to check, and she was nowhere in sight.
In July of 2021, the Department of Children's Services removed Summer's older brothers from their home. In October of that year, their father, Don Wells, was arrested for a DUI.
I have lost control. I've done stupid things, and for that I apologize.
That was after filming a Dr. Phil special that aired in November of that year.
This may be a losing battle with this, guys. Okay. Let's see what... I'm going to let it load some more. Sorry. We'll probably just end up reading the article. Okay. Loves the Lark says their house, pure filth. I can't deny that. Dawn and Candace were not poor. They were lazy. The shaving of the hair, the failure to search day and night for Summer. None of those that I can argue with. See, I stay on the fence between they were not the world's greatest parents, but they didn't do anything to her. And then sometimes I'm on the other side of the fence thinking that maybe some neglect was going on, or what we know it was, but thinking that maybe something was neglected. She wasn't watched well, so she wandered off, or an accident happened. So I flip-flop between all the theories all of the time, which if you talk to me about Summer, you know that. You know, I'm constantly like each time they go on YouTube tour or something, I'll flip flop, or they'll stay off YouTube for a while and I'll flip flop. So it's just, I'm real wishy washy about Summer's case. I don't have a true opinion on it sometimes. Okay, let's see. Let me see if this is going to play. If it stops again, we're just going to read them.
A few other planned searches happened, and in February of 2022, Don Wells was jailed for violating his probation. In March, Summer's grandmother recalled the night she went missing for the first time.
Summer come in and had a piece of peppermint, which is her favorite, and then she went in. She said, "Mama, I want to go play with the boys." Candy walked her back to the house, and she asked the boys to keep an eye on her, and that's the last time I seen her.
10 months into the Amber Alert, the lead detective on the case said he had never worked a missing child's case of this magnitude.
I check tip line and voicemail when I first get here. I do phone.
So Grandis said that the boys were supposed to be watching her. I did notice she said that, and I know I mentioned them, but it's because they were mentioned here. I hate when they say that because I can only assume that they can hear that and they know that she said that, and children should never be left in charge of children. I'm not down on anybody, but it's just a fact.
Phone calls and follow-ups on any credible leads I've got. I follow up on anything that I didn't get to a good conclusion the day before. Then I go into my normal caseload of any new cases I've got.
See, Connie, that's where I'm at, that if she wandered off, she would have been found, because like that reminded me there, you know, how extensive the search for Summer's been. I don't know the facts about it, of the numbers, but I do know that it was one of the largest in Tennessee. Is that right, Loves Alert? I know that you looked at that the other day. Yeah, she's talking, Loves Alert, talking about the dogs. Connie, they had so many dogs there to track. Heat, infrared, had people looking in places small as laptops. She didn't wonder, in my opinion. Yeah, the detective sounds like he's trying. I just wonder what he has to go on, because this isn't the detective that initially started, correct? Or am I wrong on that? Sorry, I'm trying to catch up with chat here. I'm not used to really looking at chat this much while I'm streaming.
On June 15th, 2022, the investigation hit the 1-year mark.
When we held the first media briefing on June 16th, honestly, we expected to have good news to report by the time the next media briefing came around. Unfortunately, instead, day after day ended in frustration and disappointment. At that time, no one expected that we would still be searching for Summer 1 year later.
That was also the last time we publicly heard from Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson.
We will continue to conduct target searches in the Beach Creek area as new information develops. We'll also continue to follow up on any legitimate leads. And it's been the goal of this team since day one to find Summer.
Don Wells was released from jail in October of 2022, and he broke his silence in February ahead of Summer's 7th birthday.
It's just another day without her. I mean, I don't really want to celebrate her birthday without her. She was definitely going to be tall. She'd probably be as tall as me, I'd say, because she was growing so fast. I'm sure she would be the same person.
Later that month, after more than a year of civil court battles, a judge ruled the entire...
I get a little bit tickled. Say she'd be tall as me, he said. Now, we all know that Don Wells, I don't know how tall he is, but I would assume he's close to 6 foot. I very seriously doubt Summer is, but stuff like that cracks me up sometimes. Okay, Connie, have a good
entirety of a roughly $40,000 Summer Wells Reward Fund go to the Children's Advocacy Center of the 3rd Judicial District.
2 years later, Summer's parents are now in Arkansas. Her brothers are in DCS custody, and where she is remains unknown.
Okay, so single mom was saying that Detective Pruitt. Oh, hang on, let me get this. That Detective Pruitt is now the lead detective on Summer's case. Look at Loves Alert's comment there. So there was also 120 dogs involved in the search, according to the TBI. So 120 dogs, drones, infrared, people, Equisearch even came out. I I do know I looked around to see some good footage of Ben Hill to maybe look through tonight, but that's when I just decided to look through Reddit because I couldn't get a hold of anybody to get permission, but we'll look at that soon. But I do know that Alex Erickson has been down there and had some footage done for her, and she has it over on her channel on her playlist and for summer, and it's really good. She mentions on there that after seeing Ben Hill and knowing the grid search that they've done, that she doesn't believe Summer's in Ben Hill either. She believes she'd been found if she wandered off. So that's somebody that's been there, been boots on the ground, and seen the area themselves say that. Okay, let's see. Oh. Is that the link to the search? Let me see if I can send it to myself here. Take me just a second. Oh, really, single mom? I didn't know that came that many times. Alley Cat said if there was an accident or something happened to Summer, someone has gone out of their way to ensure she wouldn't be found. It's so sad. Allegedly, yeah, it is very sad. Give me just a second, guys. I'm sending an article to myself that I can bring up here. Probably been quicker to copy and paste it, but that's okay. I'm still here, I promise. Okay, give me a second. I've got it over to myself now. The link for the dogs, awesome. Here we go. Let me share this screen with you guys. Thank you for that link, Loves to Lurk. I appreciate it. Okay, let's read through this. This is from News Nation. It says overgrown areas in Tennessee scoured in summer well search. Look at her. You know, I am going to be honest about something here, guys. Back in the day when I was Summer's age, I probably looked close to what she did. People probably judged my parents. Granted, none of us ever went missing or was ever abused. You know, I still was a old country girl, barefoot outside, getting in the dirt. Didn't wear a shirt until I was like 4 years old. So, you know, I kind of, from the get-go, tried not to judge them on Summer's looks because of that. But like I said, my parents never got no neglect or nothing like that. Our house was always clean, stuff like that. A single mom says that she used to live in Sullivan County, which is just one county over from where Summer went missing. So you're familiar with the area. How do you feel? Do you feel if she was nearby that the search would have found her? What's your opinion on that? That you are, or you're still on it. So this is Brian Enton. It's been 5 months and there's still no sign of missing 5-year-old Summer Wells, but new activity in the investigation could mean progress in the case. On Tuesday, 12 law enforcement agencies showed up in Tennessee to search overgrown areas. There was also 120 dogs involved in the search, according to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. The Tennessee girl's parents reported her missing the evening of June 15th when she disappeared from their Hawkins County home in rural Northeast Tennessee. On that afternoon, Summer was helping mother and grandmother plant flowers. She then reportedly went into the house where her brothers were playing. No one has been labeled a person of interest in the case, but both parents have been under a cloud of suspicion. Summer's mother, Candace Bly, walked off the Dr. Phil show several weeks ago when she was questioned by two investigators. In a statement released by the parents seeking to explain their abrupt departure, they said shortly before going on the show, the family was informed authorities were tracking a girl who may have been Summer. However, right before taping the Dr. Phil show, they were told it was not their daughter. And I do believe that. Law enforcement said Tuesday's search did not net any leads, but defended their work on the case. which has been slammed on social media as insufficient. Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson said misinformation has flooded the internet and said even though operations have been scaled back, they will never give up. Despite what you see on social media, we've looked everywhere. We've done everything we know to do that's humanly possible, Lawson said. We're all in, and agencies working as a great team, a great partnership, and we hope to find Summer. That's our number one goal. That's that. Okay, let me get over here to chat real quick. I don't think they did, Allie, but maybe we'll get into more details about that. But it's my understanding that they followed down the dog trail and hit at the end of the driveway. Yeah, so the facts in the case, that's not what we would consider a fact from law enforcement, because law enforcement's never came out and said that. That's Dawn's words. So, yeah. Very few facts in Summer's case, and we'll go over and look at the facts before we get off to here tonight. But yeah, let's go over here to her timeline really quick, because I want to get kind of what your all's opinion is on the timeline, because we know that there's been some inconsistencies because of the YouTube tour, and we'll just go ahead and talk about it. Everybody seems to be getting along pretty well, so it's safe to do. Let's see. Hopefully you guys are able to see this. Okay, so there's it starts with her 2-year anniversary here, and that hit on June 15th of 2023. Remember, today makes 2.5 years. There's no arrests and no new details. The 14th is when they released the age progression photo of Summer Wells. February is when the court declared that the entirety of the Summer Wells Reward Fund will be given to the Child Advocacy Center of the 3rd Judicial Center. The reward fund totaled $40,000, $365.73. Wow, $40,365. See, I thought it was 70 at one time, but I may be wrong. I can't remember where I seen that number at. It must have been in another case. Hey, 4Q, how are you? Hey, Liza Jane, it's good to see you in here. How do you guys feel about that? How do you feel about them, reassigning the funds somewhere else? I'm kind of on the fence about that one. I don't have no clear opinion on it. Part of me feels like that was raised for Summer, and that reward should be kept for Summer. And then part of me feels like it was up for so long and didn't do any good, so it might as well go somewhere where it can do some good. So, February the 2nd, Don Wells, the father of Summer Wells, spoke out for the first time after being released from jail. I guess maybe that'll take us. You guys want to go to that link? I forget what Don said when he first got out of jail. Let's see if there's a video. Single mom, you're on the fence too. We have to prepare ourselves for a worst case scenario. We could always hope for a good scenario, Donald Wells said. Let's see what else it says that he said. One of the guards gave me a copy of the New Living Translation Bible, so I found it to be about the best book there was, so I read it. Wells said, I read it several times because what else was there really to do? I was in 23-hour lockdown for my safety, they say. I heard he was locked down for his safety as well. We really want our boys back home. If Summer was found today, we wouldn't be able to see or talk to her, he said, and we can't talk to our boys. That is sad if they're innocent. I'll let that play through and maybe we can watch the video of it. Go ahead and pause it here. Okay, so Loves the Lark feels that she says, don't come for her. Nobody's going to come for you here. They come for you, they get booted, right? But don't come for me. But I believe the fund should have gone to the Advocacy Center We can't help Summer right now, but we could help other babies with it. See, that's where I go sometimes too. And Alley Cat agrees with you. Like I said, I get on the fence. I get in my feelings and my emotions, and I think that was Summer's. That was Race for Summer. And then I get to thinking, well, you know, it's been so long, and if somebody knew something, that money would have persuaded them before now. So it's good that it's being used. So yeah, I flip flop, but FarQ agrees as well. Let's see. Let that ad play. The only thing that changed is suddenly we weren't allowed to contact them at all, he said. DCS is doing nothing to help us. In fact, they are making us jump through all kinds of hoops, which is almost impossible to jump through all of them and hold a job and do these things and make it real tough on us. Sometimes when you make bad decisions, you have a really, really tough work to do to get back in good graces. I don't know if exactly fired or whatever would be the right term, but they don't want the drama from YouTubers out there, said Don Wells. They're trying to build houses. They're trying to sell houses. And they, of course, don't want that kind of drama on the job sites. I really don't blame them for all that. Yeah, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with YouTubers going out there harassing anyone at work. Alley Cat says, I don't know if Dawn and Candace did anything to Summer, but I do think that they have known more than what they have said and fear they would be in trouble, I just feel. And that's quite possible. Anything's possible at this point. Everything's still on the table. Let's see what this is doing. Here. Might be going to show us a video, I guess. Candace has been in the emergency room 4 times. Pause that for a minute. Here, well, let's see if it'll play. Guys, I can't do it. Sorry. We'll just keep reading. I can't do the stalling of the video. Like I said, my signal's pretty poor tonight. So Dawn goes on, hey, Callie, how are you? Dawn goes on to say that Candace has been to the emergency room 4 times for heart problems and that they're looking at eventually doing major surgery, hopefully to correct the problem with her heart. She's doing better, but I think all the stress and stuff are not helping at all. That and other things are hard on your heart too. They're just talking about not wanting to celebrate their birthday. Nothing really new was in that. Is everybody okay with going to the Reddit thread and seeing what is on Summer on Reddit? I know it's just a touchy case. Okay, let me catch up in chat here really quick. Loves to Lurk says, I've looked and looked, but I can't come up with one scenario they're innocent. I just can't. I get people handle different situations differently, but not like this. Kelly says that going after somebody at their job is crossing the line. Yeah. That's just, there's other ways to handle these things. If you don't agree with someone, that's too much, especially when it's not a for sure thing. It's too much. Thank you, Allie. Single mom agrees. FarQ agrees with Loves Alert that there isn't a scenario they are innocent. They aren't, even if it's just neglect and the crap parents, they are guilty. I can see neglect as being as a possibility. Like I said, I'm a flip-flopper all day, every day. I'm sure it gets on. Loves to Lurk. I chat with her a lot about these cases, and I'm sure it gets on the nerves. Love you some Reddit. Okay, let's get on over to Reddit. I've got one of the threads pulled up, but we don't have to stay in that one. We'll find the most interesting and go with it. Let's see. I haven't looked at Reddit since like the beginning of this case, so let me find it here. There we go. I'm going to leave up the timeline in case we need it. Okay, what happened to Summer Wells? The 5-year-old went missing from her home 2 years ago today. So this Reddit thread was started 2 years ago. I definitely haven't seen this one. I'm going to go past comments that is just statements like poor Summer never stood a chance and things like that. If you guys want me to stop and read those, let me know and I will, but I just don't see as that being any information for us. Allie, okay, as far as selling her, I have heard people have that theory. I haven't seen anything that leads me to believe that, because I would think that there would be some money involved, like some substantial money, but I don't know. I'm a flip-flopper, but that's just not one thing that I flip-flop through. Farkey believes could have been, though. So, yeah, I really don't know. So this person says, I can't believe it's been 2 years. When it first happened, I was convinced this would be solved in months. The delay has really made me question my initial suspicion of the parents. I want to have faith the police have looked closely at them, and if there was enough evidence of their involvement, they'd be arrested. I'd also like to believe that if she had simply wandered out in the forest and been lost, her body would have been found by now. All I know is that it's a lot easier said than done. I really hope we see some movement on this case soon. And it says, I don't know about Tennessee DCS, but Indiana DCS would not sever communications and visit with their children unless it was an excellent reason. That's kind of how it is here in Kentucky. I know a woman who has actually broke her child's arm and still gets visits with the children. I think they still might be supervised, but still, you know, here you have to do something really, really, really crazy. I'm afraid you're right, Farq. The longer time passes on, the more I lose hope. But of course, I always hope that she'll come home safe. Loves Alert says, I don't think she was sold. They don't have any money to show for it. Yeah, that's when I hear that. Now, I'll just tell you, my husband thinks she was sold. That's his opinion. I don't know what they did with the money. If they did that, they would have had to trade it for something that we ain't seen, or I don't know. I really don't know. So those who think that, maybe you can kind of give us your scenario or your theory. That way we can see where you're coming from. And people, just the rest of those is just more people talking about CPS and how they have to have a good reason to remove them like that and sever communication. This person believes that she wandered away and died of exposure. I just wasn't found despite the best efforts of the searchers. I don't think her mom did anything to her, but wasn't supervising her for a lot longer than she said. I do agree with that. They removed the boys and haven't returned them 2 years later, so there's clearly some issues there. Candace loves her husband more than she loves her children, despite how abusive and horrible he is, but at least the boys are being looked after, and I hope they're doing okay. I live in a nearby county, and it'd be incredibly easy for a small child to disappear in the forest. There are caves, pits, cliffs, sinkholes, and something hills which are impenetrable, but it would be an attractive hiding place for a scared child. Then it talks about animals. I don't know if I agree with that. Let me go over to chat for a minute here. I'm really trying to keep up, guys, I promise. So Allie made a comment on the house and its condition, and that no child, I agree, no child should have to live like that. I'm glad they finally got those issues, well, so-called taken care of. I know it's not benefiting any of the kids now, but nonetheless, it was pretty bad. Single moms like me, she's just not sure. Yeah, he does. He loves to lurk. You tell him. I better not let him hear me talking about him. He'll have to come in here and give us his theory. I'll spare you all. No, so far, he believes Don told us in his very first interview. I can't remember that interview word for word, but I don't know. you'll have to let me know the quote for you because I can't remember right off the top of my head, but it seems like I remember there being a big stink over the first interview, something that Dawn had said. Right. Yes. 120 dogs, 12 search teams. And yeah, I'm with you there too. Today, like I said, I'm a flip-flopper, but today I believe that if Summer had wandered off, she would have been found. That's what I believe today. Something might change tomorrow and sway me in a different direction, but that's where I'm at today. Alley Cat says, so earlier in the day, Summer went to the swimming hole with her brothers, just wondering if there was proof of life, or did anyone other than Candace grandma say they saw her? So yes, Allie, Hunter, which is Allison, the friend's son, he was with them at the swimming hole. The boys were not. The boys were at home. And supposedly, allegedly, it was Candace, grandma, and Hunter at the swimming hole. And then when they took Hunter home or picked Hunter up, Allison supposedly seen Summer, and now she's not sure if Summer was awake or not. I don't know. But you have people that say that they had seen her that day. Yeah. Connie said that she's heard both. For Q, that's the hope. That's the hope. Okay, let's see. Let's flip back over here to Reddit. That picture was supposedly taken on the way home that day. Correct me if I'm wrong. No, CPS didn't take her. You're right. CPS ain't out here stealing 5-year-old kids. We had an incident in Louisville, Kentucky, where CPS got in trouble for adopting out, infants. They were letting adoptions go through on infants, and they got, some trouble over that, and some stink was going on about that. But those were babies, not 5-year-olds. That's just not. Yeah, I agree with that. Callie says it's possible they sold her, but it definitely wasn't CPS who took Summer like Dawn suggested. Personally, I think it was an accident. I think that's very possible. It's one of the more reasonable, easier answers. And usually the easiest answer is the right answer. Loves the Lurk says that she don't know if she believes Summer was proof of life that day. I've heard there was a video, but I've never seen it with my own eyes. I don't think it's verified fact. Yeah, so the swimming hole, those videos came out. The milk jug video came out, but we haven't seen the metadata for it, or it had a law enforcement officer come out and say this was the last, and with that, there was a good point brought up. Why didn't law enforcement ever use that? Any other time there's someone missing, if they have surveillance of them, if they have them on video, they release that. So if they had Summer on video that day, why didn't they release it? Connie, that's very possible. Yeah, I mean, there's so many possibilities in this case. You guys have some really good theories. Exactly. We have to take our pick from Grandis, Candace, Allison, Hunter, the boys, Dawn. I don't know. Whose word can we take? Because we all can agree on one thing, I would think. There is more lies in this case than any other missing case that you can follow here on YouTube. Find me another one. Find me another one that has more lies and games going on. Because I don't think you can. Yeah, he definitely got special treatment, Connie. You're right about that. Alley Cat says that pic of Summer with the milk jugs just freaks me out. She looks so out of it to be asleep. It just stays with me for some reason. A lot of people have the same feelings. I talked to several people who say that. Me, I don't know. I mean, sometimes I see that she looks sick, or I see that it just looks a little off. She's got her arm in an odd position. And then sometimes I just see a kid who crashes and sleeps, because sometimes when kids crash, they look weird. So I flip-flop on that one really bad too. I have a lot of opinions, but no real opinion, if that makes sense. No firm opinion. FarQ says, I was flip-flop for the last 2 years on this. I think my mind is made up. This won't be solved. Too many people will be brought down. Summer is no longer in the world. It's deeper than just Dawn and Candace. You may be right. I hope you're not, FarQ, and I hope we find out, because I desperately want to know. But you very well could be right. Sometimes these cases don't get solved. Leslie Lark says, I want like a person who has no skin in this game who's seen Summer. I don't believe anyone around her. I can agree with you on that. Okay, so let's see. This person said, they said Summer would be the size of a manila envelope. I don't remember that, but I do remember them saying a laptop. EquiSearch said that, and Diddy Ron repeated it on his most current video, but how far could she have traveled? I think it's possible considering the foliage, but find it odd Sheriff Lawson won't let searchers back due to trespassers, and has declined formal response to this when the news asked recently about her case. What's going on with the police department? This is a 5-year-old child. I can see how people, would be getting angry about him not allowing searchers back, but then I also see him saying people can't search because of trespassing, because a lot of trespassing has happened. All the YouTube games that's been played in this, and them going on tour and, instigating people coming down there has really caused a mess out of this. So it's not a typical go look for somebody search. I agree with that, FarQ. I cannot disagree with that. And I just want to be clear, guys. I'm not giving nobody down the road as far as Dawn, Candace, Candace, any of them. I don't know if they have any part in it or not. I'm not giving them down the road about Summer. All I can say is that I know they were neglectful. We know what we've heard on YouTube out of their mouths, not what other people said about them, what they've said about themselves and how they've carried themselves. We know what we've heard people in the area say. One of their neighbors is on YouTube all the time. We know what she said. So we've had a lot of different perspectives in this case. And maybe that's why everybody flip-flops so much. I'm not sure. That one's about the voice, so I'm going to scroll on past it. Somebody said they really wish it was true, but they think there would be something. I do too. I don't think she wandered out into the forest. If she was mentally handicapped, then I would say it's likely possible she wandered away. But being that this is her home, her brothers in her area know this quite well, I would think. I don't know exactly what they meant, but it's my understanding that she was not mentally handicapped. This person said, do any of you downvoting me have any experience with 5-year-olds? I've got 12 siblings. I'm the second oldest of them all. My youngest sibling is younger than my own son, especially when it sounds like the parent was not a good parent. Yes, a 5-year-old could easily wander off. I'm not making a comment about this particular case because, like I said, I don't know enough about it. I was only saying that a 5-year-old wandering off doesn't mean they have to be mentally handicapped. Agreed. I agree, Loves the Lark. It makes me wonder too. Everybody does something different, so I guess the reason I don't judge on that is because I feel like I can't. But then some days I'm like, why aren't they out looking? And I get frustrated with it. So I understand that. It's talking about Summer wandering off. I'm trying to find a different theory than wandering off. It seems like that's the going theory, though. Everybody thinks she wandered off. On Reddit, anyways. It says they searched intensively for at least 2 weeks after her disappearance, but had a lot of issues through rough terrain and no phone coverage. They went back in winter because of easier without the foliage. They even used drones that detect a specific color or infrared. So that's talking about, there just wasn't one extensive search. This was several. Oh, Alley Cat, the blue couch. I can't even get into the blue couch on here because I'm not even caught up with the blue couch. All I know is that there's a blue couch. Dawn and Candace said that they took it to the dump. Somebody wants to know why they took it to the dump because they don't take nothing to the dump. And it's just been a big old mess. But the blue couch, I can't even touch on. If somebody in chat wants to, go for it. But I can't touch on it because I've kind of put my earmuffs on and blocked out noise for the last year when it comes to this case, and I just don't deal with certain drama on it. And the blue couch seems to be working a lot of nerves right now, so I've stayed away from it till things calm down, and then I'll go look. You did. There's so much information, but we'll catch you up. Yeah, I'll tell her loves to lurk. Don't go down that road. We will later, but I just can't go down it right now because I don't have enough information on it. I still don't know what I think about the blue couch. No one's talking about it because it takes down a lot of people, possibly so, Connie. I mean, we see that happen too. So FarQ is answering you there, Allie. Let me post her up here. FarQ says, Alley Cat, if she wasn't sold, she was put in that. We had a case like that here 10 years ago. Baby boy put in a couch, taken to oh, wow, that's awful, FarQ. But that happened in, I think it was Indiana as well. Not recently, but a few years ago. I remember looking into a case about that. Very, very sad. Yes, there's a lot of drama on it, and that's the reason that it took me 2.5 years to come and do a live fully dedicated to her. I just don't do it. That's what I think too, Connie, that hunters would have found her. Hunters always, in the winter when the foliage goes down, that's usually what happens. Which we hear of cases where people, they've searched an area and brought dogs out and everything and nothing happened. And, a case out of McCoy County that I follow, it was like 10 years almost before they found the body. And it was within the 5-mile radius of their search. They had dogs and everything out and the body wasn't buried. But, just why things like that happen, I'll never know. Oh, well, single mom, you tend to miss Molly. She's way more important than this. Way more. We like Miss Molly here. We try to. I don't know how much good we are at it because there's so much information. It's hard to really answer a question about summer, isn't it? So somebody says on here, this area is historically incredibly impoverished, and that leads to everything being underfunded and understaffed. It's the reality of rural cases, especially in Appalachia, where there are hundreds of acres of unoccupied land in most counties, that even when law enforcement generally wants to do the best they can, everything is working against them. I remember Brian Enton. Is that the one that we read? When Brian Enton, no, that's not the one. Let me see if I can pull this up. He had an interview with Dawn that I always thought was good, but it might be on News Nation. I'm not sure. Let me go over to their channel and just see if they have a playlist on summer. I'm sure they don't, but let's see. I'm going to mute myself for just a second, guys. I'll be a step away for just a second. I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. Let me go back here. Okay, yeah. I want to see if I can find this interview that Dawn had with Brian Enton. Let me share my screen so you guys can see what I'm snooping through. Because Dawn, I think, talks about the dog trail and stuff on there is why I let Alley Cat watch it. I don't know that she has. Let's see if this is it. Yes, FarQ. Molly is
a trans woman has taken gold in the
Molly is her baby, her fur baby.
Female competition, winning in every.
That 5-year-old girl has been missing since June 15th. Her mother, Candace, says that they were planting flowers at the front of the house with Grandma when Summer decided to go back inside the house. Now, that is where her 3 brothers were on the internet, watching TV, and Mom says she then came inside herself and asked the boys, where's Summer?
Do you guys believe that they were planting flat? Do you believe that part of it? Do you feel that was truthful?
Where's your sister? And those brothers said she'd gone downstairs to play, but nobody could find her in that house. Here is Summer's father, Don Wells, back in June, describing what happened next.
So when her mother come in, she says, "Where's Summer?" She went down in the basement. She didn't answer, so she went down there and she was gone. So she went out the basement door, which was unlocked. And
We have Big Molly and Little Molly.
Some bad person grabbed her, but we have no idea.
Local police and the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation spent weeks and weeks searching that property around the house, even bringing in the dive teams to check the bodies of water, as well as issuing an Amber Alert. But here we are, 5 months later, still no sign of Summer Wells. I want to bring in News Nation's Brian Enton, who is at the Sheriff's Department in Rogersville, Tennessee. That's where Summer Wells went missing. Okay, Brian Enton, you do this better than anybody else. Just get me up to speed on the investigation. Where are we at?
Well, unfortunately, basically nothing has changed in 5 months since Summer Wells went missing. I was inside the building behind me, the sheriff's office today, sat down with the sheriff, and that was probably the most jaw-dropping thing I heard since we got here. I asked him, since Summer went missing 5 months ago, what sort of progress have you made? Are there any new nuggets? Is there any lead? Is there anything? And he said flat out, no. They have no new leads. And he said everything is on the table right now. And every single person involved in this case, he considers a person of interest.
Well, that's upsetting. You know, kids and people don't just go, vanish. They don't just go poof. They're somewhere. It's whether they're alive or dead somewhere. And, we have lots of tools to figure that out.
Connie, you have a Beagle Husky. See, I have a couple Husky Miskits. That is so cute. Oh.
Go back to the dad for a minute, because we talked about mom and grandma out planting flowers and the boys inside doing, what boys do on their phones and TV. Where was dad and what's his story?
So the dad, Don Wells, he was at work. He works as a
Do we
drywaller.
believe that Don was at work that day?
He was not there when Summer went missing. He says he got the call and he rushed home and he saw his other kids, who have since been taken away by social services, by the way, because I'm not sure if you've seen the inside of their house, Ashley. It was a real mess when all of this went down. Very, very unsafe for children. But the dad was not there, comes home, sees his other boys out looking for Summer. And basically, you summed it up. The mom claims that Summer was outside, went back in the house. The grandmother was also on the property. Summer suddenly goes missing. They're looking around and she literally vanishes. What the parents believe is that she may have wandered out of the house. They say that she was abducted. And that is what they think, either kidnapped or abducted, and that she went down a very steep ravine behind the house. But I was out at the house today and yesterday. The ravine is so steep, it's in the middle of nowhere. And the sheriff says it. I mean, it's not, they don't believe at this point there's any evidence to show that this was an abduction, because it's just, it's so strange that this would happen at this one house in the middle of nowhere on the side of a hill in Tennessee.
So I'm just going to go back like a good...
Let's Lark, you're fine. If I was you, I would be in the bed. I'd be snoozing right now if I could be.
Zillion years, like 20 years to Elizabeth Smart going missing. I said the same thing. I was outside, the Smart's house, and
Does
I said,
anybody believe that she was abducted?
Little girls just don't vanish from their beds. I smell a rat. And there was a ravine going the other way, a steep upward ravine outside the back of their house. And it turned out Elizabeth was up there. And she could hear people screaming for her, calling out her name. And she was captured by two evil boogeymen, a man and a woman who kept her for 9 months. And so I've changed my tune a lot on the fact that, weird, completely unbelievable abductions, they do happen. They happen to Mark Kloss. They happen to Ed Smart.
With abductions, we have to remember where Ben Hill is located. I think I will be finding a video for us to watch tonight. I know a couple people. The expert one time told me I could use his. I'm just not sure which one it is.
They do happen. But let's go back to that house. You said inside it's not a good scene. But is there anything that investigators or even the parents can point to that suggests someone came in that house and somehow drove up that big circular driveway without them seeing, and then somehow took Summer off into those, I guess, thick woods where they wouldn't have their car? I mean, none of it really logistically makes sense from a pragmatic, state. So what's the theory on how someone might have abducted her out of the house?
Well, according to the parents, when the search dogs were out there, they traced a scent from
According to the parents, not police, according to the parents.
Down the steep ravine, not near the driveway, but down the steep ravine out to a more of a main road below. So the parents' working theory is there may have perhaps been a car parked down below, that someone got Summer up by the house, took her down this steep ravine, got her in the car, and then took off. And you're right, anything is possible. The sheriff said anything is possible. He said he has hope that she could still be alive somewhere. That's why we're hoping people take a look at her picture. Could she still be in the state of Tennessee? Could she have been human trafficked in another part of the country? He says anything is possible at this point.
Oh, I just hate even thinking that. Like, I don't want my head to go into that space at all. Maybe I'm Pollyanna about this, but you say traffic and I just think, God, she's 5. Okay. So the red truck, the business about the red truck, they're saying it's like a 1998 to 2000 maroon or red Toyota Tacoma. That's pretty specific, with a bed ladder rack along with white buckets in the truck bed. Who saw that and was so smart to get all that information and then remember it and then actually regurgitate it? Whose information is that?
I saw war. I saw moving. I saw.
So it was a witness in the area who believes they saw that red truck. Another neighbor also says that she thinks that she heard a scream around the time Summer went missing. So, of course, those were some of the things we brought up to the sheriff today. He said, yes, they're looking for the red truck, but he wanted to be clear, that's just something else they're looking into. They're not sure if that is really someone connected to the case. Could it have just been...
So if you guys remember about the red truck, there's a news article out there. I'll never find it tonight. It was an earlier one. And it explains where they got that information from. So it was an employee of a company, the local company, who frequented that road and said that they seen the red truck. They couldn't remember what day it was on, though. They couldn't remember if it was Monday or Tuesday, I do believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, someone, but that's where the red truck came from.
Someone driving by. Was there even really a red truck? They don't know. They want people to be on the lookout, but it's not like they've got some kind of concrete lead that there is an abductor who is in that red truck. He says they're not anywhere near close to that right now.
Okay, so you had a chance to talk to Dawn Wells. This is what I really want to get into, Brian, and we've got several bits and pieces, but I want to start at the top with the question about, I don't know, I think he's alluding to the idea that maybe Summer's mom doesn't hang with a good crowd, but dig into that for me and give me what it was he said about that.
Yeah, let me set this up for you a little bit.
The crowd they were talking about is Allie, Allison, Hunter, and True.
The Wells, Candace, and Dawn were on Dr. Phil last week. Dawn, the dad, says Candace did not want to go on TV. They had to really push her to fly out to California and go on the show and say that it was in the best interest of Summer to get the word out. So they go on the show, and at one point during the Dr. Phil interview, when they're asking her questions, she breaks down, she takes the microphone off, and she leaves. A lot of people following this case have questioned, including the sheriff himself, does Candace Wells know something about what happened? Not necessarily something that she did to her daughter, but does she know something about what happened that she is perhaps not sharing with authorities?
So, Jose, is your theory, Connie?
And that sort of was the basis for my questioning of Dawn Wells. Take a listen. Is it possible that something happened to Summer that Candace knows about?
Allie, I think he does that with his guests. I think that they have to be presentable, because I do know she had to get them removed from infection, so they weren't well done.
Not her fault, but she is just...
I agree with that single mom. Listening to Jose gave me a better understanding too. I just don't know. I don't trust anybody in, what they say, but I hope he was telling the truth, because Summer sounded like a great little kid. Farkey says that it's all lies except the beginning with Dawn. She believes that he told what happened. Don said that if it was Candace's hand, he didn't want it solved. I believe that. I don't remember that exactly, but I believe that.
Nervous now and feeling bad.
Oh yeah, Jose's definitely on the list. I hate naming suspects people that I suspect, but I'll just tell you guys, I suspect every single person at some point or another. I flip flop so bad
About it.
Well, no, because she knows better. She would know to go directly to law enforcement. An accident's one thing. She would never do something like that. She knows better than that. I know it happens. It does happen with people, but no, she would go directly to law enforcement. She'd call an ambulance right away, number one, do anything. She would freak out. I mean,
could she have gotten herself into a situation where it wasn't her fault, but
no.
You know what I mean?
No. She was
she couldn't get in a no-fault situation. Any of us could.
She's a good mother. She loves her children. She's not going to allow any situation like that. The biggest mistake she might have made is maybe choosing some wrong friends, which is, it happens.
I find him blaming Candace a lot.
So, Brian, what did that mean? Sometimes she chooses some wrong friends. That was kind of a sketchy thing to say.
Yeah, and for people who follow this case, and there are a lot of people online who
shady people
follow this
everywhere
case
like
very
that.
closely, that is what they picked up on. He has not said that before. And the question is, what did he mean by wrong friends? I pushed him on that. He wouldn't really elaborate and sort of change the subject. But yes, that was the interesting part to us. And even the sheriff today, when I interviewed him, said, yeah, that was interesting. We haven't necessarily heard that before.
Here's one thing you need to do before buying anything online. Don't spend another dime on Amazon until you watch.
You just mentioned something I think is super important. And the fact is that the kids were removed from the home. The other 3 brothers were removed from the home. Give me a little bit more on that, because that doesn't just happen because
whether or not you think Don and Candace done it, I don't think that anybody can trust them. Regardless of what your theory is, they cannot be trusted. They have shown that they lie. I mean, that's just the truth. The truth will stand when the world's on fire, and that's just the truth. We've watched them lie. We have all sat here on YouTube entirely too late at night, keeping up to date on this case, and watched the lies roll out of their mouth. And not just out of theirs, out of others too. Josie Brown, I've heard her in on. I've heard everybody in this case in lies.
Child goes missing, like the Smarts kids weren't all removed from their home. There were 5 kids. They stayed with the Smarts.
That's
the
a
other
good point.
4. So why were these kids taken out?
That's a very good question. Bottom line, we don't know. It's all confidential because they're underage, and the case has actually been put under a gag order. We weren't even able to ask Don Wells about that, or he could get in trouble. So we don't know exactly why they were taken away.
Interesting. Okay. And then just the last question. And it's about, I think it was only like 2 weeks ago, you alluded to the criminal backgrounds of mom and dad. I mean, dad's got multiple felonies. He served prison time for drugs and burglaries. He's had multiple parole violations. Mom has criminal record in the state of
Deception
Wisconsin.
Detective. If you haven't went and watched him, do it. I've been catching up on a few of his videos. I hadn't known him until Love Lurk introduced me, but it's a really he does a really good job, and he doesn't do it like in a way that he drags anybody or anything. It's very sensible, and it's a very good true crime channel.
Wisconsin. Most recently, she pleaded guilty to misdemeanor domestic abuse in 2003. But then dad, it appears, may have gotten a DUI just like 2 weeks ago. What's up? What's going on?
So, single mom, I have a question for you. Single mom says that she's been down to the bottom of the driveway. But there's no trespassing signs. So going down Ben Hill and just seeing the area and the terrain, the search that we read about how extensive that one search was and how many searches there was, do you feel like if Summer was in that area, she would have been found? I ask everyone that's been there because I really want to know your opinion. Exactly. Yeah, I know they were working on the house, but it still wasn't where it needed to be from what I heard. The drug use is a big issue. The neglect is a big issue. Yeah, it is, because I'll just say it. No, I won't say it. It ain't none of my business, so I won't say it. But yeah, I do think it's gross. I don't know. We've seen Panda's dog. I have no clue. What's his face with the dog? Oh, that's Mr. Dobbs. Which, Mr. Dobbs was in that area. I don't know if on the 15th, but soon. Robin, yeah, I'm surprised Robin and Allie and Hunter surprised me. I figured they would have had a channel. I'll continue playing this. Sorry, I was just trying to catch up on chat.
So he claims that he, is stressed about the case, obviously having a hard time handling his daughter being away, and made a mistake. And again, if you go and you listen to some of these YouTube shows that he comes on in the middle of the night, early in the morning, you can clearly tell that he sounds very different than the man that I interviewed in the afternoon yesterday. So there are definitely some demons there. And I think that this family is obviously having a hard time with what they're going through with their daughter being gone.
Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of News Nation's Fact.
Oh, there you have it. Guys, I try to keep these at around an hour, and I'm creeping up on it. I have a few things that I need to get done, but I'm going to continue this later tonight or tomorrow. We'll keep on going through Reddit, and we'll keep on. I'll probably gather some more content too. I'm going to find a good video of Ben Hill. But guys, thank you all for stopping by. I appreciate it. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Friday night. I'm going to go watch a movie with my husband and hang out with the kiddos. We're going to watch Barbie. If you all haven't seen Barbie, it's out on one of the streaming channels now that we have. I forget which one exactly, but let's go see that. Oh, tell me, whoever has to patrol our channel, I do too. Love you, Alley Cat. But guys, you all have yourselves a wonderful Friday night. I'll see you guys later in the morning or tomorrow afternoon. Bye.